I love knockoffs. They're just the best. One of the movies that I intended to use on one of my knockoff lists is Beyond the Door, which is very clearly a ripoff of The Exorcist. But you know what? I love this one way too much to just pop it up on some list of movies. So it and its sequels are getting their own video, because this one needs some love as we find out if there's any continuity here, or if this door leads to nowhere. Nowhere being where continuity isn't. We're going all the way back to 1974 with Beyond the Door, also known as The Devil Within Her, from the director of Tentacles. And it starts off with the devil actually narrating the opening of the film, and then jumps straight to a young, naked woman on a pentagram whose face becomes that of a bearded man for a really confusing boner. The opening is really surreal and arty, but it's kinda beautiful until...
What's the matter with you guys? Sounds like a jerk-off session in the bathroom.
And then we have this music producer and his wife and 2 kids, and how convincing is the voice coming from this little girl?
Hey, remember that crazy nickname you gave him? What was it? Asshole.
And for some reason they have like a stack of copies of Eric Segal's Love Story with them, and that came out in 1970, so we're past that. Now, they're in California, and there's a quick shot of a license plate, and the sticker is yellow, which was the color there in 1972, so that may be our date. Jessica tells everyone that she's pregnant, and it's Ken's 4th birthday, and he's drinking Campbell's green pea soup straight out of the can with a straw. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in most states. Jessica starts having some moments, like destroying Robert's beloved fish tank, and straight up floating. And it's said that her baby is growing at a very unusual rate. And oh my god, that kid's back on the soup again! Well, if you think that's a pure dietary decision, Mom eats an old banana peel off the ground, but I guess that could just be a craving? Pregnant ladies all the time are like, can you go to the store and pick me up some dirty banana peels, right? And then, wait a second, the kid has a freaking green pea soup painting up on his wall? The hell is going on here? There's demon dolls and a rotating head, which may seem familiar, but you know what's not familiar? This eyeball trick. But then it becomes clear that Jessica is indeed possessed and spitting out green goo. And you might be saying to yourself right now, holy cow, this is pretty damn similar to The Exorcist. And so did Warner Brothers, who sued them for copyright infringement. It was ultimately settled out of court, with the producers handing over a bunch of cash to the brothers for it, and damn it, really? The kid is packing the soup? Forget copyright, I want Campbell's to sue them for blatant product damage, because I never want to eat soup again after seeing all of it here. You know what Exorcist didn't have though? Nose flute. Then they strap Jessica to the bed, and it gets super Pazuzu-esque, because everything escalates, getting pretty intense, and oh hey, rice-a-roni really is the San Francisco treat. More than freaking pea soup is. Oh hey, speaking of pea soup, it's revealed that the demon was really after Jessica's ex Dimitri, and this entire thing was just to screw with him, and then she kills him. The devil leaves and her baby is born, a mouthless stillborn. Later, everything seems fine and little Gail is still reading that damn book, but little Ken gets a car. Thank goodness it's not more soup, but the soup is apparently now in his eyes. Since there was no other dates in the film, we're just gonna go with the 72 date. Now, here's where it gets sketchy, because in 1977 there was a sequel entitled Beyond the Door 2, but it was just an American retitling of a movie released everywhere else as Shock. It's by horror master Mario Bava, directors of classics like Black Sunday, Blood and Black Lace, Planet of the Vampires, and Danger Diabolique, and was partially written by his son Lamberto Bava. Since we know it's just another film with the title slapped on, we already can guess that it's not connected to the first one, and we have Dora and her kid Marco moving into her former home. She's married to a guy named Bruno after her first husband killed himself. Things get pretty uncomfortable quickly.
Help! Help! Let me up!
And the little dude starts getting more and more territorial. The piano laughs, and of course it's laughing, it has damn razor blades between the keys, and everyone starts to see things as Dora is attacked by a slightly transparent box cutter. Marco does a bunch of voodoo kind of stuff to cause havoc around the house, and eventually there's the revelation that it was Dora that killed Carlo, and later it's shown that Bruno helped her out by hiding Carlo's body behind the brick wall, and his whole reason for not leaving the house the whole time was that he wanted to try and clear the evidence before they left. And I guess it took him like a month to do that? Dora kills him, putting him in the walls, but Carlo's in Marco, and we get this great shot. And she goes mad, slicing her own throat while Marco has tea. There's no date here, so it's real-time 77, and this was actually Bava's final directing credit before his death in 1980, although he did have a film released afterwards that he had shot about half a decade earlier. It gets weirder because 12 years later, they decided to keep it going with Beyond the Door 3 in 1989. It's set in Los Angeles, and what it says is today, and I always assume that they mean year of release with that, so it would be 1989. And there's a group of students headed to Yugoslavia, and Beverly is one of them, and her mom gets Final Destinationed. They meet Professor Buford Pusser, and I would do a Walking Tall timeline, but I'm guessing it would have like 3 views, so I suppose I won't. The prof has this cane that looks like a sailor humping it or something, and he gives everyone a pendant that looks like the birthmark that Bev has. They're all staying in this pretty remote village, and their beds all catch on fire, killing one, so they decide to get the hell out of Dodge and hop on a train. Unfortunately, the trouble follows them, and soon the conductors are killed, and the train is taken over by evil. And here's the deal. This was released as a mock train elsewhere, and the American distributors bought it, also with a movie called The Bite. They wanted them both to be successful, so they just tagged that one as part of the Curse series, and this one as Beyond the Door 3, even though they had no connections to the other films. So Beverly is meant to be Satan's bride and sees some wild stuff, and the others get infected with bizarre incidents like the girl full of maggots, which is pretty awesome, and the train wrecks in glorious model form, and the crew keeps getting bumped off, and this guy transforms into a mannequin. The train ends up right back at that village, and Beverly meets random sexy flute dude, and the professor takes her to a ceremony where she's to marry the devil, but she boned that dude on the train, so she's not a virgin, which ruins everything. And I gotta tell ya, from what I know about the devil, I'm not too sure that he'd be hung up on the fact that she had sex one time before. She finds out that the guy that she had sex with was Marius, a monk from the 11th century, and I guess he was an angel. So imagine that, you're an angel and you get to be sent to Earth, and they're like, you're gonna help beat the devil, and you say, how? And they say, boning. Anyway, the devil attacks Bev's plane, but it's just a dream, and that was it. They didn't try to slap the name on any other films after that. That may change very soon though, since the director of the original has promised a return to the franchise with Beyond the Door, Embryo, reuniting with Juliet Mills to do a direct sequel to the first one. But here's the weird thing, the synopsis says that the film revolves around her daughter and says that she's one of the twins born in the first film and is now pregnant and fears the father might be the devil. Thing about that though, there were no twins born in the first movie. She had a daughter in the first one, but they're not twins, so I guess that's just a goof. But the daughter's like 8 or 9, and that's in the early 70s, and they say that the new one is 30 years after the original, so it would appear they're sliding the timeline of the original up to accommodate that. But there hasn't been much word on this one since it was announced, so it might be something that just never happens. So there you have it. It is 3 movies that do not have any timeline or continuity. They are 3 completely separate films that are connected in title only. And I enjoy all of these. They're all very fun. The first movie is actually much better than I think it has any right to be. It's very enjoyable, even with all the goofy soup things happening. It's a great flick. I enjoy it. There's some genuinely creepy moments in it that are kind of off-putting that people don't talk about as much as they should, but it's a good flick. Check it out. And Shock, or Beyond the Door 2, is also very enjoyable, and Part 3 is just insane with all the crazy train stuff happening. There's some really wild effects in that one. All 3 of these are worth checking out if you haven't seen them. I enjoyed them thoroughly. If you have seen these, or you don't like them, or you do, let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear about your experiences with Beyond the Door. If you've never heard of these before, let me know that below, and if this has actually convinced you to check them out, tell me that as well. Of course, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and hit the bell if you want to get notifications on when new videos come out. And please, if you get a chance, check out patreon.com/movietimelines. You can help support this channel. These guys do, and I thank them for it. They are very awesome for helping that. But you could also just keep on watching the videos. I certainly appreciate that as well. And I will see you very shortly for another great one. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.